Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the SanDisk SHOUTCraft Invitational, brought to you by SanDisk Extreme Pro SSD. My name is TotalBiscuit.
And I am Artosis.
The losers match has Byung and Hero in it.
Yeah, it's
That's this tournament.
that's this tournament. It's really surprising to see Byung in a losers match here in an online tournament, but this one's pretty stacked, man. Hero, kind of the most disappointing games that we've seen so far today, but sometimes his stylistic play can do that. I'm expecting a much better series here against Byung.
I think so. That said, I still rate Hero as the underdog here in kind of a big way. Byung's performance against Protoss has been nothing short of god tier over the past few months. Hero's pretty good versus Terran, but is he that good? I suppose we're about to find out.
We certainly are. I think Hero's going to pull out some crazy builds here, maybe some blink all-ins. Byung has to be careful, because Hero can definitely knock him down if he makes one misstep.
Oh yeah, he can all-in with the best of them, and his all-ins are just they're so technical, and that is in itself very scary. Dealing with an all-in from Protoss at the best of times is kind of terrifying. Dealing with one that's controlled that well, it's been something that's carried Huck's career over the past few years, and it's carried Heroes maybe in an even bigger way.
Yeah, can't disagree with that.
Alright folks, here he is. After a disappointing start to this tournament, will he be able to pull things back? Will he be able to go on and get his rematch, get his revenge against DRG? Spawning to the northwest position of Habitation Station, in the blue trunks playing Protoss, Liquid Hero.
And his opponent, the best winning record of any Terran in the world right now. It is Gigantus Byung.
That it is. That it is. And mostly Pro League, but sometimes outside of it as well. Of course, Byung has been around in GSL for quite some time. If I recall correctly, he was the first Kesper player to make it into GSL without a seed.
You know what? Actually, I think you might be right about that. I forgot all about that, though. Oh my god. Yeah, that was a long time ago, too. That's a good memory you got there, TotalBiscuit. And you know what? He's recently been, last season, 3 Terrans, Maru, Supernova, and Byung. This season, 4 Terrans, Maru, Supernova, Byung, and then Innovation. He's like one of the most steady players in the world, but hasn't had a really great singles finish. He's doing well in team leagues, he's being consistent in getting into Code S, but where's his tournament win?
Well, he believes it is in 2 barracks. We saw a bit of the shenanigans yesterday as well. Innovation was actually pulling things like this out, being the one regular barracks, and then the one not so regular barracks that's somewhere else.
Well, this is kind of interesting, because I don't think it's going to look like the game that we saw yesterday like this, which was Innovation versus Hero, where
weird.
1 million probes died and then 2 oracles won the game.
Yeah.
I somehow doubt that.
No.
I wonder if this will be an SCV pull variety, or he's just going to try to bunker him, or what, but it looks like this is going to be an oracle again, so
yeah.
I don't know, maybe it will look the same.
If this happens again, that would be absolutely ridiculous. I have to wonder if Byung would have watched that game, learned from the mistakes, like, wow, I had an engineering bay, if I just put a turret down, and that wouldn't have worked out, but, well, this is going to get crazy. This is Marines, man.
Well, a Marine has already found this Stargate, so kind of an issue for Hero there. He's definitely going to be ready for that, I would say. Putting down a bunker in the natural. I guess that what this can do is slow down any possible Nexus down here and give Byung a lead in that regard.
Yep, the bunker has not completed, but the Stargate is taking fire and will most likely not go up. That's, in fact, I think that has got to be cancelled at this point. There's a bunker going right next to it.
Yeah, he's just making completely sure that there's not going to be any Oracle, and there you go, he does force a cancel, so that's pretty strong from Byung. And he will get the couple of pylons as well, and, even though this is kind of sad for Hero to have to cancel that off, it's not really all that bad, because he knows what Byung is doing, he knows that he can't possibly have a lot of tech, and he's just going to go ahead and throw down a Twilight in this situation.
Yep. If one tech path doesn't work, then try another. But Byung has firepower here, and he will have control of that natural, because there is no Nexus to go up for the photon overcharge here.
Yeah, certainly. He's going to be contained for a little bit. Now, will this be for a Dark Shrine? Will this be for Blink? I would imagine Blink. Yeah, it is Liquid Hero, of course. And he's going to actually see that it's Blink. So this is actually... Byung's done a pretty good job here. He knows what's going on. This is looking like it's going to be a one-base Blink all-in.
Well, the barracks is on its way back, and of course an expansion here from Byung, and the soft contain being put in place. 3 more gates, yep, there we go. It is a 4-gate Blink coming out of Hero, and Hero is definitely very scary with this build. I don't think it's the scariest. I'd probably give, if I was going to say one player who's very scary with Blink all-ins, would probably be Alicia, actually. I think is maybe a cut above Hero on that one. But Hero's control is still really, really good. That we know for a fact.
Yeah, he's one of the originals as far as Blink Stalker play goes. So he really is very comfortable with it. He knows how to use it well. But Byung is really preparing for this. He's already getting concussive shells. He's actually getting 2 tech labs for plenty of Marauders. I don't think he's going to die to this TotalBiscuit.
It doesn't seem likely at this point, and the problem is, if there's no sign of an expansion going down here from Hero, it really is an all-in. We use the all-in term perhaps more than we should, describing builds as all-in when really they're certainly very risky, but it's not the end of the world if they fail, but I think in this case it is.
Yeah, it's definitely the end of Hero's world if this fails. Like, I guess he could go ahead and make a Nexus as he goes, but the slowness of it, he'll just die to whatever timing push comes out of Byung. And you know, I don't even know if you can call it a timing, because it's just like any random attack that goes across the map should kill him.
Yeah, but as you're well aware from being part of the Cadre of Casters, every attack is a timing attack.
Of course, every attack is a timing attack.
Just as every storm is
much
beautiful.
easier that way. And force fields and funnels.
Of course,
don't forget about those.
naturally.
Oh boy. Well, he's got some SCVs up here to repair this bunker. He's got plenty of Marauders. He's got units on the high ground, even a bunker up there. As if that's an easy place to blink in and out of. Kind of a dangerous area to go into, but definitely think that he'll get stomped if he goes up there.
Yeah, and we did actually see, I believe it was Alicia that pulled it off on this map in that very location where Byung's bunker is. Because this is a terrible map for Blink. It's really not that great. But Hero does get a good position here in the natural and picks off several units already. The militia core will die, but it lost its energy, so it wasn't really going to do much else than tickle. So it's not too bad. It put the time warp down where it needed to, and he's denying mining for the time being, and he has an exit strategy out of this. But he doesn't have an exit strategy out of the build, Artosis.
No, he doesn't. No other tech at home, no Nexus at home to deal with. He's just going to have to go for it. He's going to go ahead and bust the bunker, and it's actually going to work out perfectly. That's very nice for him. That means he can just blink away against these units.
Yeah, and the Zealots absolutely did their job there. They sacrificed their lives for Ire, and Byung ended up losing a good amount of units, his bunker there, and his linchpin on that natural. And more Zealots are going to be warped in to ensure that he can do that again.
Well, let's see here. Hero going up this ramp, seeing if he can break through. He has these Zealots to try to tank a lot of hits, and tank a lot of hits they will, killing off quite a few SCVs, but
15 workers killed by Hero so far. Like, he actually has the worker lead. Admittedly, with mules, it doesn't make that much of a difference, and he's going to have to kill a lot more in order to end Byung, but the bunker isn't done yet. The Zealot's not in the best position. That was not a brilliant engagement there by Hero at all, actually, and I think he certainly overestimated his capacity, and Byung suddenly explodes out of the natural and crushes Hero's army. Oh, what a disaster here for Hero.
We're going to have to see GG losing every single unit. He really has literally nothing left at this point.
Yeah.
He is warping in a few more Stalkers, so maybe he wants to give it one more try, knowing that this army has stimmed and it's lower on health, but I don't think that there's any possibility in a million years he can win. He doesn't either. GG.
Yeah. He bungled that one. Like, things were looking really, really good, and then he decides to waltz up the ramp with his Stalkers, and his Zealots are caught in the middle. They don't tank any of the shots whatsoever. Then they get kited, and then, boom, stim right down the ramp, straight into the middle of the Stalker count. Just devastating.
Yeah, a little bit rough there for sure. I was surprised how well he was doing with it, considering, Byung got it scouted so quickly, had a great counter to it, but Hero really utilized the pieces of the map that he could, blinking in behind those gases, and, He did a pretty good job, but unfortunately that all-in not working.
Yeah.
The Liquid Hero today with a lot of all-ins that just aren't doing a whole hell of a lot.
Yeah, he's not looking like the hero that we saw at Cologne. I'll tell you that for a fact.
No, certainly not. He was really in peak form there, but here today, just a bit off, you know? And the thing is, that happens with pro gamers. That doesn't even necessarily mean that he's in bad shape right now. Maybe he is just having an off day. Maybe his strats just aren't hitting quite right.
Maybe he did have a couple too many sojus at his birthday party last night.
Absolutely could be. You know, birthday parties very fun out here.
Yep, I'd imagine that they would be. But he's not looking brilliant at all. And he had a shot at winning that. You know, the first 3-4 fights, just beautiful. Like, textbook hero blink, textbook engagements, and then bungles it. And it only, you know, at that point when you're on one base, it only takes one error against that.
Oh, certainly. You have to execute it perfectly the whole time. And, you know, losing the mothership core to the missile turret as well was a bit painful. It made it hard for him to engage up the ramp, right, and everything.
Yeah, that's true.
It's too bad. If he wants to try another strat like that, he needs to execute it a bit better.
I'd say so. And Byung does not mess around against Protoss, and he doesn't die to that kind of stuff all that often. Maybe he dies to it when Zest does it, but outside of that,
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Like, if you're Zest, maybe you kill him off with that, but the thing is, Zest doesn't choose builds like that often anyways, so we'll see what Hero has planned. The next map going to be Frost. A nice big map. I don't expect to see any one base play out of either of these guys here.
No, I don't think so. Although, if anyone could pull it off, it would, of course, be Liquid Hero. I do hope that he's not getting himself into a mental position where he just wants to kind of throw the last game and just say, all right, I'm done with this. I hope not.
You know, that is a danger with him sometimes.
Yeah.
He's definitely one of the most emotional Korean players. Really, he gets inside his own head. He puts a lot of pressure on himself. He practices a lot. He cares a lot to win. And, you know, that can be very disappointing at times.
Yeah, it certainly can, especially after a string of losses. You know, going out twice in WCSNA round of 32, after winning it in Season 1 of 2013, that's a kick in the teeth. He's seeing people that he has surpassed so many times. You know, the Koreans that came over to America, just leave him in the dust. And that has got to hit your confidence.
And it certainly does. You know, every time I see a Hero interview, I feel bad. I'm like, oh, man, like, he's really taken that last loss hard. And the thing is, over the course of a StarCraft professional gamer career, you're going to have a lot of downs.
Yeah.
Like, you might have a lot of ups, and Hero is one of these guys that has a lot of ups, but there are going to be a lot of tournaments that you just don't win. It is a grind overall. You can't win everything unless you're Zest.
Yeah. And eventually Zest will be taken apart, and you've got to bear in mind, of course, he popped up from relative obscurity. You know, no one was scared of the Wookiee in previous Pro League season, or indeed in GSL, but now they know him, now they know his name. How long will he reign? You know, as soon as you put yourself in the position of the king, you have a lot of knives aimed in your general direction. The Iron Throne, indeed, is a dangerous place to be.
Well, until those knives can stomp down force fields, I think Zest is going to be all right.
Yeah, I think he'll be just fine. Yeah. What you know, I don't know how much, of course, you know about the expanded universe, Dan, but you know what it took, of course, to kill the most famous Wookiee of all time?
What is this?
A whole frickin' moon.
Did it really?
Yep, they crashed a moon into Chewbacca. That was how he died.
Really? Chewbacca died?
Yeah, expanded universe, man.
Oh my god, spoiler alert. Chewbacca eventually dies, as all living things do.
Indeed. But he died in the most metal way possible, screaming at a moon that was about to hit him in the face.
That's pretty sick, actually.
Hardcore.
Wow.
Hardcore. We'll see if that is what it really takes to bring down Zest. Hopefully it'll be something a little less extreme. Regardless, we have a man who is on the ropes in the worst possible way and bleeding out of his nose, his ears, his eyes at the moment. We need to see that fighting spirit that we know him for so well. To the southwest position here of Frost. In the Blue Trunks playing Protoss for potentially the final time today, Liquid Hero.
And in the top left of our map, our Terran player with a very aggressive strategy, but having to go on the defense, it is Siege Antis Byung.
Speaking of aggressive, we see a refinery first play here out of Byung.
Oh, cool. All right. I wonder which build he's going to be going for. I really wouldn't mind seeing the one with, you know, the medevac and the Hellions where you build the bunker near the Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a pretty popular build in Korea right now. We've seen Maru do it a lot. Byung has mixed it in some, and wouldn't be too bad to open up with a tech build anyways against an aggressive type of player like Hero.
Yeah, I think the wisdom up at least until the last month or so has been you can't attack a Protoss that early on unless he makes a huge mistake and gets his mothership core killed, because Photon Overcharge defends everything. And then we saw, of course, Maru say, no, that's not actually true at all.
You know, mothership core can only be in one place at a time that early on. So if you have a medevac, you can hit 2 locations and really make them have some hard choices about how to defend.
Yeah.
So,
and not only that, but you can micro against that Photon Overcharge itself by lifting up Marines that are being targeted, by using, of course, a bunker to fall back to. We saw Maru pull it off in just the most heartening display for me as a Terran player that I've ever seen in my life. It's like, it can be done! The Leviathan can be slain!
Yeah, it was... You're talking about that Habitation Station game, right?
Yeah.
With the Nexus cannon and
that
the
was
poppy
hardcore.
Out. Oh, God.
Yeah.
That was craziness. I could not
So
even
cool.
believe my eyes. And you know what, Byung? Do you think of him as much of a micro player? I feel like he's obviously very good at micro, but I don't look at him in the same way as Maru. I feel like he's more of a strategic player.
Yeah, he's not the speed demon that a player like Maru or, I suppose to a lesser extent, MVP Dream would be, where his style against Protoss is just like the fastest aggression that just never ever ends, and he's like he chugged 5 monsters before the game even began, and that's how he plays, and he's just faster than his opponent. No, Byung has never struck me as a player that does that. He's got the speed and the micro that you need, because you can't be a slow player playing Terran unless you play mech. So he can do that, but he is very strategic, and he is about those great engagements, and just about great timings as well.
I do have to agree with you completely on that. Now, we do see, it looks like he is going for the strategy we were talking about before, grabbing a medevac, making some Hellions at the moment, but look at Hero's probe over on the right-hand side of the map. I wonder if he's going to do something crazy.
He very well might. You know, it's not like he didn't know where his opponent was, so, and it's not like a Terran player would ever proxy anything over there, so Hero's got to do something here. The Robo is coming down in the main base, though, for Hero, so if he's going to proxy something, what on earth would it be?
I don't know. I don't think he's going to proxy anything because that Robo went down, but maybe just throw a pylon up for Warpins later? I mean, he could do a Stargate, and I got to say, like, I mean, Robo Stargate costs a lot of gas, but it would be a pretty good counter to what we're seeing here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's worth noting, of course, that Byung is still on one base here, and this push, this little attack here, has got to do some decent damage in order to equalize the situation, because Hero is plowing away nicely on 2 bases. He's starting to build his tech up. And the drop is here. Hero has not seen it at all. And that is that Photon Overcharge you were talking about, forcing it on the natural and then going for the main base. Focus fire on the Widow Mine, however, here. Hero manages to pick that off before anything happens. Can Byung actually do any damage with this?
Well, he's starting to pick off some probes here. Force him back a Mothership Core, and he kills the Mothership Core. Very nice job picking up these Marines and rocketing out. And he actually got 5 workers as well. I don't think you can complain about that at all. Seemed pretty solid.
Yeah, it seemed okay, certainly. And the expansion is going up. Hero has placed the pylon over to the corner here. We'll see if it decides to proxy anything, or if it is just for Warpins. That's also a possibility. But that was okay. I mean, I think Byung was hoping maybe for a little more than that. He was hoping at least for a Stalker from that Widow Mine. It was great focus fire there from Hero. Picking off the Mothership Core is not too shabby, though. Of course, it was very low in energy, but it does mean another one has to be rebuilt. Oh no, Byung does not want to lose that!
Oh,
brutal.
That's painful. Your first medevac, you really don't want to die, but you know, he did do some damage with it. He is getting his command center up at that natural. It has already finished, so not as hurtful as it would be otherwise, but still, that sucks. Yeah,
it does. Alright, a Hero is here, and funnily enough, this Widow Mine, I'm not actually sure what it killed or detonated on, but it's currently on cooldown, so those Stalkers are okay, but they're not going to be in a minute. I think Hero is just, I don't know, is he out of range of it? I guess we're about to find out.
That Stalker might be just, well, now it's going to be. He's pushed him in.
Traitor Stalker shoves his bro. It's like, you take it for me, bro. There you go. It's like, what are you talking about? I don't know what. Oh, God. But the Observer is there now, and the Widow Mine is not going to get focused down. That SCV desperately chasing it down, but it will die. The Zealot's now in there as well, and Stalkers making their way up the natural ramp right into the main base, but there are Marauders to meet them, and suddenly this attack turns into a bit of a rout here for Liquid Hero.
Yeah, he committed a little bit too heavily past that bunker for sure. That was like more aggressive than it should have been from Hero, and again, I gotta say, I feel like he's just a little bit off today. This is not the Hero that we're used to watching.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like Byung is a bad player. Byung is actually an incredible player, but he had an opportunity to do more damage there, and more to the point, not get stuck in a position where he has to run back past a bunker. You can't just assume that a Terran player doesn't have Marauders. They're going to be building that, especially if they've just been under Stalker fire for the last couple of minutes, and what they saw in your base after their initial drop. So, yeah, that was a bit of a misjudgment there, I feel, from Hero. Byung realizes, of course, that there's got to be a pylon around here somewhere, and he will find it here with this Marine.
Oh, very good scouting there from Byung, and, you know, it looks like he's just trying to get into a normal game here. Will he go for 2 more Raxes or another command center? We'll be seeing in just a moment. But as far as Hero goes, looks like he wants to go Colossus and Blink. Will he add Forges, or will this be a 2-base build?
That is a good question. It would not surprise me if it was going to be a 2-base build here from Hero, based on what we've seen from him so far in this event. And, like I said, bit slow. Oh, yeah, Blink Colossus. Well, he's certainly not getting a 3rd base too soon after that. He is continuing to build probes, though, so you never know. Byung's worker count is a little low. I mean, worker skill is actually 8 to 7, just slightly in favor of Byung there, but the base was later for Byung, of course, and now he decides to get a little aggressive. But there is already an Immortal, and of course, Photon Overcharge is available, and the force field's looking pretty good. Byung electing not to evacuate those units either. He wants to keep the fire onto his opponent and use the force fields against him as the Zealots are funneled into a horrible position. Is Byung seriously going to crush this army here?
Whoa, look at that. Picks off the Immortal. That Immortal was a hero, though. He would have actually just lost so much more if not for the Immortal. But still, he just lost basically his whole army. He's only got a single Colossus as far as fighting units goes. And that's pretty rough.
It is rough. It's really rough. And Byung also will be able to fire on this Warp Gate. And Extended Thermal Lance, of course, not done here for these Colossus. And he looks to try and drop right on top of them. Marauders coming in. The Photon Overcharge has been used. Liquid Hero does micro backwards, however, and prevents that from happening. Oh, man, if he lost that medevac with the 3 Marauders, that would have been insane. But Byung is continuing to apply this pressure here. Hero holds on for now. The Mothership Core, of course, can't really contribute too much more.
Well, he's stemming in once again. That Mothership Core actually trying to take on a single Marine, not really doing a great job of it.
Oh, they took great. The weapons on that thing.
Micro. Look at that micro from Byung. Actually, really good.
Yeah, he's dipping in and out. He's making sure that units don't get target fired down, and he is doing damage to those units at the front. And now he stims forward. He sees an opportunity, but there are 2 Colossus out now. Even with Marauders, this is still a little dicey. I think he realizes that. He's like, let's not overdo it. We've contained our opponent. We've limited what he can do. We are going to take this 3rd base, and we're going to build up a bigger army, and then we'll take him on.
You know what? That was a great little micro war that we just saw between those two. Really showing off some high-level control, and kudos to Hero for holding it off. And good choice from Byung to decide, oh, okay, I'm definitely not going to break this guy. Time to go home and regroup.
Yeah, that was a great hold from Hero. You can't take that away from him, no doubt about it. The control was great. By all rights, he would have lost another Colossus if he hadn't been able to control as well as he did. Almost baiting Byung into trying to drop on that Colossus and costing Byung every time he attempted to do that. Although, you've got to give credit to Byung as well, of course, because he was microing against things like Photon Overchargers, Colossus. It's very difficult to do. So, both players acquitting themselves very nicely here. We can have a look at the resources lost. Hero has lost a little bit more, which is usually not what you necessarily expect out of a Protoss. They are very much that efficient power unit race, but Byung, look at that Marauder count, man. It's insane.
Oh, man. It's pretty crazy. He's got a really nice army, and you know what's really killing me is he has this 3rd base just mining away, whereas Hero, you know, he started it, which is nice, and yeah, he has the double forge. He's trying to go into macro play. But Byung's supply is just jumping leagues ahead.
Yeah, it certainly is. Missile turret coming down. Byung's going to find that observer. Hero's going to No, there we go. I was going to say that would be embarrassing for Hero to lose his observer to that. But he pulls back slightly, so he's okay for the time being. But now Hero transitions to a part of the game that he gets fairly comfortable with, and that's the idea of, on a nice big open map, being able to start with the harass while teching behind it.
Well, no Warp Prism out yet. He is trying to do something with his Stalkers, it looks like, kind of walking around, has already picked off a unit and then switched locations. But this Marauder force you were talking about earlier, look at it. It's grown. It's so huge. And this is going to be hard to deal with, even with Psystorm.
Yeah, and I mean, Psystorm doesn't do that well against Marauders. It doesn't bring them down as quickly as it would Marines. It doesn't kill the units off. It'll bruise them, no doubt about that. And that was actually a missed opportunity there. Hero could have got another force field and trapped a good 4 or 5 Marauders, although Byung probably would have evacuated them with the medevacs there. But you're right, you know, Psystorm is maybe not going to work so well, and Charge is not done yet. A decent Storm is going to push Byung back. I don't think Hero wants to go back into this. He's getting into a bit of an open field here without Zealot speed, but Storms are landing, and they're landing well.
Yeah, that was actually a great defense right there. I was surprised he did that well without the Zealot speed, which is just about to finish up. But Byung does get out with most of his supply, and still, he's up by 18, so that's still pretty solid. He's going to be back, and he's going to come back strong.
Yeah, and if we look again at resources lost, strangely enough, Byung actually lost way more than I thought in that fight. He is now the person that has lost the most. And here comes the harass. It charges right into a supply depot, which is a little embarrassing, but the Zealots are going to take out their Rage in it regardless. Chop that to pieces. Great placement of that supply depot, of course, because he knows that that third base is a possible run-by location. He wants to have high ground vision for potential storm from there as well, which can absolutely decimate a mineral line. It's good for Hero to pick that off.
Well, Byung gonna go ahead and deal with this completely. Look how far he's going in. He's like looking for any pylons that may be up here. He knows that trying to deal with a harass like that all game is like, that's an easy way to lose.
Yeah. It's an interesting composition here from Hero. He does have 3 Colossus versus only 3 Vikings. The Marauder count is, of course, very, very high. But if there's a lot of charging Zealots, these Colossus could actually do a huge amount.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he hit some very nice Psystorms before. If he hits those again, plus some Colossi Beams, plus the Charge Zealots, those Marauders will just get shredded. So Byung has to take this very seriously.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. It might be a small army, but it's a scary one. Scans go down. Yeah, Byung's taking this one seriously. He wants to know what's coming. Uh-oh. Oh, but a brilliant defensive Psystorm lands exactly where it needs to. The amount of health it took out of that Bio Ball was significant. There's an Archon at the front here to tank. And suddenly, this is looking more like the Hero that we're used to. Harassment comes in, 4 Stalkers come into the top right here and pick away at this third base mineral line.
And looks like he is going to have to use a blank to get down there. I don't know if that's going to keep them alive for very long, but this is going to allow him to move up the middle of the map with his army once again. But kind of interestingly, Byung has spread out some Widow Mines in the map that he's having to defuse.
Most of them did die, but they did take out a Stalker and do that. Oh, the feedback from Hero is on point. I believe that was a full Marauder drop, so that was a significant hit. Hero actually took an army supply lead for a little bit there as a result, and takes a 4th too.
Wow, that's really nice that he's doing that with a couple of High Templars over there. Going to be hard for Byung to cost-efficiently force a cancel. But he does have his ghost count climbing up a little bit. He's keeping up on upgrades as well, which I think is so important to point out. A lot of these games that we see, one player gets way ahead of the other, but it's 3-3 upgrading against 3-2 upgrading. So Byung only going to be behind about an upgrade at any point in time.
Yeah, which you can very easily end up in the situation of against a Protoss player that has that Chrono Boost and so often will be throwing down the double Forge. It's not a terrible disparity. It does certainly suck a little bit when you're trying to kill that many charging Zealots, if those Zealots happen to be running around with 4 armor, of course, but that doesn't last for all that long, and with the +3 damage upgrade, he should be okay. Byung with a significant flank, which is looking maybe to take out that base. A Zealot run-by gets shut down over to the left-hand side of the map here, but yeah, it looks like that Nexus is under grave threat. It's... Oh, the Storm, though! Landing again, taking out significant numbers of units. I mean, I certainly don't see Hero holding that base, but he did a lot of damage. Big drop coming in to the natural expansion here will, of course, be cleaned up too.
And of course, with the Zealots up at the north fighting right now, Liquid Hero is bringing up the rest of his army and all the tech units of Byung up here. Byung's got to be careful not to lose all of these.
EMPs go down, but those ghosts are getting sliced and diced right here by Hero Zealots. The Colossus make their way in as well. Third base now under threat. The main has been dropped, but it is being answered here by Hero, who will get the cleanup. The third base now forfeit here for Byung. Those Colossus being the MVPs by the looks of it, with no answer from Byung, having no Vikings.
This was like the quickest weird situation ever in a TVP. They were just both all everywhere on the map at once. In fact, it is continuing. Byung going after the third base of Hero, forcing him to evacuate it of workers at the moment. But Hero does have units coming down to stop this.
Well, Byung has managed to reestablish another base here, which is turning into a planetary, which will be nice against those Zealot run-bys that we like to see here from Hero. Hero hits the 3-3. It was actually a terrible time for Byung to fight. Wow, losing 2 medevacs. He might even lose more here, because it's currently 3-3 versus 2-2. Those charging Zealots are going to take a toll here on the Marauder Force. Another small Marauder Force from Byung, but where are the medevacs? They just aren't there. And the storm on the retreating units. And Hero is nailing these engagements left, right, and center.
Yeah, he certainly is. Hero showing us the player that we all know he can be in this game, at least. Byung having a hard time getting his economy put back together. He does have the third completely saturated once again. And some SCVs finally going down to his fourth base, which is a planetary, but Hero is on the way to try to mess that up.
Yes, he is, and he eats a big Widowmine shot for his trouble there. I love the... he's got 12 Widowmines. That's a lot, and Byung really exploiting the fact that those things are absolutely fantastic. It's very difficult to get an inefficient trade these days with a Widowmine, and they just slow the Protoss army down so much. Oh, big stim forward, but the Storm is there to answer it.
In the meantime, we do have a drop in Hero's Natural.
It's a big one, too.
Oh my god, just absolute... a massacre over there at the Natural, while Hero walking up this ramp, going into the Natural. Byung, can he actually hold on against this very tech-heavy army?
Well, that's a good question, isn't it? We might end up being in a really strange base trade situation here, as Hero goes for the Natural, guts it, is now making his way into the main. There are I don't see any Widowmines up that ramp, so it looks like Hero will be able to fight of it, especially with the Colossus. Those Marauders going down, but the third base is going to be traded out here as well. That puts Hero on no mining bases at the moment. A very small but very powerful army has marched into the center, but it's going to have to deal with these reinforcements as they come out.
Who's gonna win this? This is actually crazy, because Hero has almost nothing left. He's just got his main base and a couple random scattered buildings, like pylons are on the map. But he's got a very strong army, whereas Byung has this very mobile army working out for him right now.
I'm a bit worried for Hero, I gotta say. You know, he's very far down in supply. He does have this second force. If he can somehow join the two together, he'll be in a great spot, but he's losing tech and infrastructure. He has no mining, so he's almost exhausted his bank. He hasn't quite yet. I think he just wants to save his 400 minerals for potential nexus. That Colossus gets nailed down, and the reinforcements just kind of coming out here from Byung are slowly picking away at what's left of Hero's army here. And the problem is Byung's still mining and Hero's not.
Yeah, I think that is the main problem. The fact that he continues to rally out units and just stim them into these few remaining units of Hero, even though Hero's units are much better, it's almost as if it doesn't matter. We still have an economy for Byung.
Yeah, and Byung is losing a significant chunk of that, but he's still got that planetary, so it doesn't matter that much. I mean, there's units still there, but eventually that Immortal is gonna have to die, and the reinforcements do pick them off. That single Archon is what remains here, and it's gonna pick off yet more units on the way out. And yes, he's traded efficiently, but it's a game of economy at this point, and that game is something that Hero is losing badly.
Yeah, and in fact, you know, he has been revealed, so Byung knows exactly where all the remaining buildings are. He can send his medevac forces around and kill every single one of them. In the meantime, Hero, with the last remnants of his forces, trying to go back up into the main base of Byung, but I don't think there's any way he's going to get through this.
I don't think so, unfortunately. 19 supply to 72. Hero is going to After a much better game than what we're used to, unfortunately, it was too little too late. If he needed to find his form, it had to be 3 maps ago. Not right now. There's a single Archon heroically trying to take on everything that Byung has got, but you know that's not going to happen. There's nothing left here for Hero. He is down to 13 supply. He will be the first player eliminated here in Group B, quite decisively, I might add. And Byung will face Dongregu in a ZVT to go and play against Flash on day 3. GG and goodbye to Liquid Hero.
Yeah, what a prize that is to play against Flash. But I do have to say, Hero really stepping it up towards the end of this series. I quite liked this last game, and good job to him. You know, it's too bad that he kind of bombed out. He kind of like underperformed compared to everyone else in the SHOUTCraft Invitational, but that was a solid game right there.
Yeah, it was definitely looking a lot better, but, you know, you can't really have, in a dual tournament format, 3 maps warm-up. You've got to bring it right from the start. It unfortunately was not good enough. He looked very messy on the first map there against Byung. He looked like a player that could take Byung on map 2, but Byung was just too strong. He was dropping every location. He was hitting exactly where he needed to, and he was playing Pult-esque, which is really hard to deal with. Yeah.
That's so true. And you know what? Yeah, maybe it's as simple as Hero should have set his alarm a bit earlier in the day. I don't know, but he's out of here, and I'm really looking forward to another good TVZ.
Yeah, and it will be a good TVZ. It'll be Dongregu taking on Byung, which I think might be the coolest match of today. It's entirely possible. DRG historically, of course, has played some of the best ZVT ever. Currently, his form it's decent enough. It's not brilliant right now, but it's pretty good. And, of course, Byung's strongest matchup is not, in fact, against Zerg. Not at all.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't consider it, but seriously, recently he has beaten Life and Soulkey. So, that's, like, in my opinion, the best 2 Zergs in the whole world. If he can beat the best 2 Zergs in the whole world, this should be a good match against DRG.
Yeah, and in fact, this match has happened before, quite recently in Code A, which Byung did win 2-1.
Oh, well, excellent. I mean, it's kind of a grudge match then for DRG. You know, I think both of them have already been playing quite well today. But I really like DRG's play, especially on Habitation Station last time. I think he's playing very well at the moment.
Yep. As it stands, Byung has a slight edge in terms of head-to-head. He did beat Dongregu in Pro League. I believe it was the only time that they've met. He also beat him in Code A. He did lose, but the last time he lost a series to Dongregu was actually in 2013 in the up and down, so that was a long time ago.
Wow.
Which means that this series could be really cool. Very interesting, I think, and a good chance for Dongregu to potentially get revenge, and he's running pretty hot today. He's looking good, but is he good enough?
You know, I hope so, because if not, we're going to have 2 CJs and 2 KTs in the top 4. And that's some domination right there.
It certainly is. There's no doubt about that. Although, again, we'll be seeing the teams trade off once again. It will, of course, be a CT versus a... I can't even do this anymore.
Whoa.
Wow. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Against
KJ, yeah. What is going on in my head? KT Rolston versus CJ Enders possibly is a round of 4 here. DRG being the man that stands in the way, and probably the man that has the skill to do it, although we thought that of Life, and Life, unfortunately, was not quite up to the challenge.
Not quite. Some solid games, but you know what? I believe in the one true Dom.
Well, we shall attend his church momentarily, folks. The service is about to begin. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we will be bringing you the final match. It was a quick group, much quicker than yesterday. Be the final best of 3 of Group B. Will it be Dongregu that goes on to face Flash in a best of 7 tomorrow? Or will it be the one and only CJ Byung? We'll be right back after the break. Hi, my name's John Bain, and it's my pleasure to thank SanDisk for bringing us top-notch StarCraft 2 entertainment at the SanDisk SHOUTCraft Invitational. When I'm not casting StarCraft 2, it's my job to critique PC games, and to do that, I need the best hardware. One of the best upgrades that you can get for your PC gaming experience is a solid-state drive, so I'd like to encourage you to check out the SanDisk Extreme Pro SSD. It's engineered for super-fast read and write speeds and consistent high performance 24/7. What does that mean for your games? Faster load times, faster boot times, faster install times. Less downtime, more game time. Plus, they're easy to install, run cool, and are both virtually silent and energy efficient. If you're worried about reliability, no need. SanDisk backs it all up with a 10-year warranty. Game without limits when you step up to the consistent high performance of SanDisk Extreme Pro.